That's too low. And I move it here. Just trying to find a good place. We don't have any books.
For some reason, this won't go all the way down to mute. This is weird.
There we go. Now, that's better. Are we waiting on someone else?
No, everyone's here.
Everyone is here? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Mayor? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can't hear her. Can you hear her?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get started. You ready to get started? Okay. All right, call to order. Let us stand for a silent prayer. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Clerk Pittman, would you please take attendance?
Councilman Fry?
Here.
Councilwoman Griffin?
Here.
Councilwoman
I can't
Blunt?
hear her.
You can. You're,
Here.
is your volume off again?
My volume is up.
I can hear you.
Okay. Is that better? Yeah, okay. All right.
That's kind of my thought forward. Obviously, I'll work with Joe to carry that forward into whatever he wants to do, but I think for the fall, I'd like to get at least a couple.
Okay, so I'm not sure if who that is, but I'll continue with attendance. You're ready, Mayor.
Yes, please do.
Okay, Councilwoman Robinette?
Here.
Mayor Jones?
Here.
Councilwoman Lipka?
Here.
Councilman Garrett?
Here.
A quorum is present. At this time, we'll have our public comments. We ask that the citizens would send their comments in by September the 7th at 5:00 p.m. and that the staff would answer any concerns of the citizens. Clerk Pittman, do you have any comments that were submitted via email?
Yes, I have one from Sarah Holmes. And it says, much has been noted about the rancor among council members and their need to work together that does not need to be restated. However, it is clear that at least one member needs to be explicitly told that her public words and actions are demonstrating her blatant disrespect for another council member. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, Mayor Ella Jones publicly posted an unfounded complaint against another council member on her Facebook page. This served only to escalate a misunderstanding by seeking out and agreeing with derogatory comments made concerning that council member in a public space. Mayor Jones made no attempt to seek an amicable resolution to original complaint, but instead sought to escalate division and discord in her desire to discredit the council member she dislikes. This occurred even though an inquiry with the publisher of the Ferguson Times revealed that the alleged offense had no merit on the allegedly offending council member, was uninvolved in the description of pictures submitted to Times. This behavior undermines the work of the council and is detrimental to the well-being of all residents. I respectfully ask Mariella Jones to reconsider removing all 3 posts and their derogatory comments from her Facebook page. Additionally, I implore Mayor Jones to practice what she preaches regarding inclusion and not exclusion by publicly apologizing to Councilmember Linda Lipta and to the residents of Ferguson with a promise to do better in the future. I agree that working together is important. Mayor Jones, if that is truly your goal, you should model it in yourself before asking that of others. And that's the only one that I have.
Oh, okay. We close the public comment section. We'll move on to the manager support report. Interim City Manager Jeff Bloom, may we have your report at this time?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Mayor. And at this time, I'm going to ask Chief Hampton to begin with just a brief update on where we are with respect to COVID-19.
Mayor, Council, pleasure to be here once again. Right now, we're actually down in the city of Ferguson from the last time I reported. Last time I reported, I believe we were like 93 locations. Currently, we're about 80, 82 locations in the city of Ferguson. Now, that doesn't mean my numbers are down. That just means my locations are down. So we're actually doing something right. We're heading in the right direction. But we do fear the Labor Day weekend. And this past weekend, we do see a spike coming within the next couple of weeks from the Labor Day weekend. But that's just like normal from all the holidays that we've had with it since. Everything that's going on with the St. Louis County mandates seems to be working. And right now, that's really all I have to report to the council.
Thank you very much, Chief. At this time, I'll call on Chief Armstrong to provide his report on community policing update.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and all our residents in attendance. I don't have a whole lot to brief on tonight, but one thing that I did want to bring up that we are working on here. As we all know, we have a lot of issues with driving, with traffic here in the city. All of you all get a lot of complaints and emails from residents, just as I get complaints and emails from residents. And so, I've been doing a lot of research and just looking at different things that we could try to come up with and implement to try to better address some of the issues and the problems, and to do it in a way that is sustainable. And so, what I found is actually something that another city did, which was called a neighborhood traffic calming program. And so I reviewed this program that they put together, and it really laid out the foundation for how you go about addressing these issues in a sustainable way. And one of the things, that jumped out to me with a program such as this is it put a process in place for how we would go about identifying areas that we needed to try to dedicate resources and what those traffic calming measures would look like in those particular areas. And one thing that this program, seeks to accomplish is not passing the problem from one place to the next. And so, if somebody speeds down, your street, the focus of your problem is on your street. But one of the things that could create is, so if you get everybody on your street to come together and file the complaint, and so speed bumps is one of the things that often comes up. And so we get speed bumps put on your street, and then all that does is divert the traffic to the next street over. And so now we just created that problem on another street for, still our community members. And so, so it talked about just the importance of having a plan in place such as this. And so I sent this to Elliot and asking about the comprehensive plan that's being currently worked on. And so he sent it to the individuals that's working on that. And so when they looked at it, you know, what they're working on in the comp plan is not going to cover this, and definitely like the program that I found that we're going to be working on here. So, you know, it is going to be some overlap. You know, they are going to address some things in the comp plan related to, you know, the traffic and just the overall, you know, driving safety of what we're trying to get to. But we're going to be working on this here to present to the council, you know, once we get all the stakeholders in place that will have to contribute to a plan and a program of this nature to bring before the council to see if that's something that we want to try to implement here. And like I said, the big thing with it is being lasting change and implementing something that, you know, should have some sustainability to it, and not just a quick fix that we may see a little bit, you know, improvement for a short period of time, but it's not really addressing some of the issues and some of the problems. And so we are working on that. A couple other things I wanted to bring up. Some of you all participated last year when we hosted the National Day of Reconciliation event that we partnered with the Adopt a Block organization with. And so that event is coming up again on September 17th. But of course, of COVID, it's going to look a lot differently than it did last year. It's going to be an online event. And so they just recently reached out to me since we were one of the participating cities from last year to be involved with it again this year. And so I'm waiting to get some additional information. And so I'll be sending that out for anybody who may be available and want to participate. We had a pretty decent turnout last year for that event. Another thing that we have going on, another one of the nonprofits that we partner with here, Boys to Mentors, they recently reached out to me. And one of the things that they're doing with their organization is providing free lawn care service for elderly residents here in Ferguson. And so we did put that information out through our Nextdoor platform. And I've received one referral so far that's been sent over to the group. And so, you know, if anybody knows of any elderly residents that could benefit, you know, from this resource, you know, just send me an email so I can get it over to the organization so they can get in contact with them and work on getting their yards cleaned up some. That's really all I have for this evening.
I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
On the traffic program that you're talking about, just what is the timeline on that, do you think, before you're going to present to City Council?
It will probably be a couple months because we would have to talk to some other individuals. So this is not just a police thing. We would have to talk to Department of Transportation and get some of their involved. And so I would probably say we're looking at least a couple months.
Okay, and then also, where are we on our traffic patrol? Or have we reinstated that yet, or are we still working with getting our staff up to the levels necessary?
We're doing both at the same time, and so
okay.
We don't have we don't have a traffic team, a traffic unit. We don't have a designated where that's all they go out and do. We don't have the numbers for that, and so what we've recently implemented is, you know, building in just, you know, mandatory time, like, you know, forcing officers to carve out some time in their day dedicated, you know, to some of our more notable problem areas where we have the traffic problem. And so granted, that's always contingent upon, you know, what happens that day and the cost for service. But, you know, that's one of the things that we recently put in place to just try to do more than what we have been doing in that regard, because, you know, we recognize the problem that it is. So we're trying to do both at the same time, along with all the other things that we have on our plate. Yes, ma'am.
Did our new speed guns come in yet? Are they out on the streets with our officers?
No, not yet. It's out for the request. The pricing request is where that is right now.
Okay, and so then the other question I have, don't we have one of those things where you're driving and it tells you how fast you're going and it kind of starts blinking, so you need to slow down to be in the speed limit?
Yes, ma'am, speed trailer. And we recently used it a few weeks ago. We put it was on Chambers. So at the bottom of the hill going westbound on Chambers is where we had it deployed. Unfortunately, somebody came along and smashed it up with a baseball bat or something and damaged it. And so we had to send it to the shop for repairs.
Okay.
Yeah, we are planning on utilizing that more often.
All right. And then I guess just the Boys to Mentors program. I just want to say thank you to those people. That is an awesome program to offer our senior citizens. And I know quite a few that would enjoy it. So if there's any, you said you're going to send out an email to all of us council members, because I would like to share that with some of the citizens.
Well, if you have anybody, they can just email me. Just have them email me their information, and because I'm just forwarding to the contact person that's organizing all of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much, Chief. Mayor and Council, I wasn't anticipating speaking on this subject tonight, but just to kind of bring you up to speed, we were approached a little more than a week ago by Dr. Marty Casey, who is the founder and creator of the Ungun Institute, and she is also the first Goodwill Peace Ambassador to the United Nations in the Midwest. And she is involved in a project called Peace Poles. And right now, there are over 200,000 peace poles in every country in the world dedicated as monuments to peace. And on each and every one of those peace poles bear the message, "May peace prevail on earth," in different languages on each of its 4 or 6 sides. And so Dr. Casey was selected by the United Nations to present this peace pole to St. Louis. And Dr. Casey was born and raised here in St. Louis, and would like to present this peace pole to the city of Ferguson.
Wow.
And I indicated to Dr. Casey that I don't think that's my job to say yes or no, but rather to bring it to the council. And if it is within their, certainly it's within their prerogative, and if it's their pleasure to do so, then they can accept that. And so Dr. Casey, unfortunately, as I said, we didn't have enough time to get this on the agenda for tonight. So we will do so with a resolution at the next meeting. I did want to inform you that Dr. Casey has a photo op this week with an international film crew that's going to take place, and where Dr. Casey would like to see this peace pole planted is in front of the waterfall next to the Welcome to Ferguson sign. And so I did want to apprise you of that and get a read from the council if anyone is opposed to this measure. If they're not, then I will work with Dr. Casey for her photo op, and then we'll get you the resolution at the next meeting.
I love it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, Mayor. So I'm hearing no opposition. I will communicate with Dr. Casey on this, and we'll get that done. And that's all I have for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Interim City Manager. Before we go to the consent agenda, Councilwoman Heather.
Yes, I would request on the consent agenda that we table the council assignments to boards and commissions until we've had a chance to meet as council, as we've discussed. But if we have citizen appointments or reappointments to the boards and commissions, I don't think we need to table those any longer if everybody's in agreement. So I guess I'll make a motion to table the council assignments and go ahead with the citizen appointments and reappointments.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Second.
We had 3 people second. Okay. Okay. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, thank you.
Thank
You're-
you.
Thank you. For the
You're at-
consent agenda, we have council minute meetings for August the 25th. Do we have any corrections or comments? Seeing none, I would like to request a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the council meeting August 25th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Byron, Councilman Byron moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Garrett, second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. As we stated earlier, we are going to not have the council assignment to the boards and commissions, but we do have some citizens that need to be appointments.
Oh,
Okay,
is that me or you doing that?
okay. City clerk, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Starting with the Citizen Review Board.
Oh, okay. So for CRB, there's a request for reappointment for Eugene Franks, Tiffany Bush, and William Bryant.
Okay, this appointment is made by the council.
Yes.
What are those names again?
Eugene Franks, and they are all currently serving. Eugene Franks, Tiffany Bush, and William Bryant.
Make a motion.
Seconded.
Second.
It's been properly, the motion by Councilwoman Burrow, second by Byron. And are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we have people reassigned to the Citizen Review Board. Our next board is the Ferguson Neighborhood Improvement Program.
Okay, and for this one, I have Janelle Stowers.
For what district or for what ward?
I have her down as a realtor.
We have two of them already. I thought she was already.
I have
Her
Janelle.
term expire in 2020.
We already have a real estate agent. We actually have two real estate agents. So that area has been filled.
She's being reappointed.
Yeah, she's been serving since 2017. So, but I have,
Well then,
I have her
yeah,
down.
there you go. She's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Council
the
appointment.
appointment is by the council.
I make
Do I
a
have a
motion.
motion? Councilwoman
motion.
Lipka?
So moved.
Yes, motion.
Councilwoman Lipka did the motion. Councilman Byron Fry seconded. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The next board, we're gonna move to the Ferguson Special Business District.
I have Nikki Wilson, and I also have Angie Karen. But I do have a question about Karen. So maybe today, if we can just reappoint Nikki Wilson.
Okay,
What board is this? I'm sorry.
If it's
Ferguson Special Business District.
To the whole committee, it just went to Amanda and I did talk.
It's appointed by the council.
So Angie Karen is the owner of Ohm Turtle Cafe. And I think now that she has closed her business, she's no longer, my understanding was that without being a business owner, she was no longer able to be on FSBD.
And that's why I said I had a question, and while she was up for reappointment, I was not suggesting that we reappoint her today. I was suggesting that we wait so we can get all that confirmed. But I did have her on the list.
I make a motion that we reappoint Nikki Wilson.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The motion by Councilwoman Lipka, second by Councilwoman Borough. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. The Ferguson Youth Advisory Board,
I have Christopher Lacey, and I know I'm going to mess her name up, but Mahylan Smith Hyde and Shamar Dean.
okay. They are appointed by the council. Councilwoman Robinette,
I'd make a motion to appoint them.
Second.
okay. Councilwoman Robinette made the motion. Councilwoman Borough seconded. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. The Housing Board of is appointed by the council.
Is this a reappointment for him?
Yes, this is a reappointment.
So moved.
Who is the council member for that?
Council member Heather Robinette.
I'll make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. Are you ready to vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. We have one person for the Human Rights Commission.
Can I
Roy-
go back really quick, Mayor? I'm sorry. Just because I had lost connection a little bit. Did we just
Okay,
Kowski tab?
yeah, he's
Okay.
the only one for the Housing Board. It was moved by Councilwoman Robinette, second by Councilwoman Borough. Everyone was in favor.
Okay, okay.
Okay, the Human Rights Commission,
So I have Rory Porter is the only one up for reappointment.
okay, he's appointed by the mayor.
So the motion or?
No,
Okay.
okay. Jeske Park Sculpture Garden Commission,
Mayor, can we go backwards? I know you said that that's a mayoral appointment, but my question is, have you reappointed him then?
yes, I reappointed him.
Thank you.
I got a question on that. Has anybody talked to Mr. Porter about whether he wants to be reappointed?
Yes, it's my understanding that he was interested in being reappointed.
Thank you so much.
And for Deputy Park, I have Noah Kirby. And these are annual appointments. So it's Noah Kirby, Michael Quintero, Bryce Robinson, and Mary Ryan.
The council representative is Councilwoman Heather Robinette.
I'll make a motion to reappoint.
So moved. Second.
It's my mistake. They are appointed by the mayor. So I appoint Michael, Mary Ryan, and Bruce Robinson.
Bryce.
Okay. Bryce, I'm sorry, Bryce. Okay.
Thank you,
The
Mayor.
library board, they appointed, we have two. Octavia,
Yes, I have two for the library board, but I also have one for landmarks before we go to the library, if that's okay.
okay.
And so for the landmarks is James Kister. I know he had some questions at first, but I did confirm with him that he is available.
Okay, great. Great. James Kister is appointed by the council.
So move.
Seconded.
Councilwoman Borough made the motion. Councilman Byron Fry seconded. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We go to the library board.
And I have Ruth Benner and Tayana Darris.
Ruth Benner and Tiana Darris, they're appointed by the mayor. I reappoint them to the library board. Okay. We have one person for the Parks Board.
And that's Peggy Fall.
Yay.
She does a phenomenal job on the Parks Board.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second by Councilwoman Lipka and Borrell. Are you ready for the questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Pension,
Michael Noker.
I will make a motion to reappoint.
he is appointed by the mayor and approved by the council.
Then you go, Mayor Jones.
Okay, Michael Noer, he is appointed, and does the council approve?
It's Nelker.
Noker.
Noker, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The Technology Board,
Larson, Blake Ashby, and Tom Claffey.
the council representative is Heather Robinette.
I will make a motion to reappoint.
She makes a
Second.
motion, and it's been seconded by Councilwoman Lipka.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We have the West Florissant Corridor District Advisory Panel. And we have 3 people that the mayor will appoint with the approval of the council. And in this agreement with the West Florissant Corridor, one person is the chair, which from the Plan Commission, which is Jim Knowles. The second person at large, Adrian Shropshire, to serve for 2 years to 2020. And Alan Mueller to serve for 4 years for 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make the motion.
How long does the chair serve?
They all serve for approximately 4 years.
So can we just for clarification, you're saying the chair serves for 4 years starting 2020. And then the next person was Adrian Shropshire that serves for 2 years to
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
And then Alan Mueller is a 4-year term going to 2024.
Yes.
And then are there any additional spots on there, or is?
No, we only have 3 spots. Each
And then
municipality get 3.
And then, okay, and then those 3, if my understanding is correct, Mayor, they coordinate with 3 people that have been assigned from the other communities that are also on this advisory panel.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor, can I clarify one thing? The appointment of the P&Z chair runs parallel to his appointment on P&Z. So it's not just 4 years. So it runs along with the appointment for P&Z.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So if the person that's the chair right now, if that person expires, if their term expires, then the term would also expire there. So it would go along, if there would then need to be a new chair. But if that person did have 4 years, then that person can continue to run for 4 years.
Okay.
So they can't run, they can't stay on that board longer than they are for the P&Z is what that means.
So what's the situation with that right now?
Oh, I just wanted to clarify that. So just in case if it came back later, but I can tell you when he expires. Give me 1 second.
Right. I appreciate that. That's a good point.
It expires 2022, but in 2022, he would be eligible for reappointment.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that if the question came back later.
Now, does that apply to the other 2 members with parallel with P and Z as well as this advisory board?
No, because the other two are at-large members. They're not required to serve on P and Z.
Well, I thought Mayor Knowles said that the at-large member was Alan Mueller.
Yeah,
I'm not Mayor Knowles.
but he's not.
Oh, I said that? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I meant Mayor Jones.
That's
Mayor Jones.
okay. That's okay.
I apologize. But Mayor Jones, did you say that Alan Mueller was an at-large position?
Let me find it again.
I am sorry.
Yes, because you have two at-large positions and they're not required to be on another board or committee. So they're not required to be on P and Z. Only one person is required to be from P and Z.
Gotcha. Okay.
At-large member Alan Mueller was served 4 years, 2024, and Adrian Shropshire at-large was served to 2022.
So, okay, they're both at-large positions. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Are we ready for a motion?
So moved.
Move.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Councilwoman Burrows did the motion, and the second is
Fran.
Fran Griffin. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
If I take mine off mute, then they'll take me too, so I-
Yeah, I know. Just don't take it off mute. I believe that's all the appointments for today for the boards and the commission. We will move to the next item on the agenda. Is request for liquor license. Interim City Manager Bloom, would you please speak to the liquor license? I have someone else speak.
Thank you, Mayor, but I'm actually going to turn that over to the city clerk.
Okay, so the reapplications we have now are Marley's Bar and Grill, Savoy Banquet Center, R&R Mini Mart, and Drake's Place. And they, at this point, we're asking for conditional approval. And what that means is all of the conditions have not been met, but they are going through the process. And so what we typically do is give them additional 60 days to meet all the requirements.
Is that for all of them?
Yes.
Can you list them again? Marley's, Drake's, Savoy, and what else?
And R&R Mini Mart.
Seconds.
Okay. We need a motion and a second to approve.
I move.
Second.
Councilman Fry move, Councilman Lipka second. Are you ready to vote in favor? All?
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. I take your temporary event permit.
Oh, yes. So for the Taste in Ferguson, there's also a temporary, I have a request for temporary permit for that, September the 13th at 119 South Florissant Road.
A motion to approve and second.
So moved?
Second.
Can I do a point of information?
I'm
Can I
sorry.
do a point of information?
We can't hear you, Fran.
I'm sorry, can you hear me? I would like to do a point of information specifically on this motion.
Okay.
So my question is, because we just recently had another municipality that had a large group outside, and I know there were some details that were not, through county CDC regulations, those had not been approved. And I just want to make sure if we're planning any future events, like Taste of Ferguson, which is something that we do every year, that we make sure that we're being in compliance and we're getting the proper approval through St. Louis County Health Department and things of that nature. Because I wouldn't want us to be in that same situation. There were some definitely some concerns about maintaining social distancing spaces and things of that nature. So I just want to, see if that's something that we are looking into to make sure that we've got those approvals prior to us actually holding this year's event, only because of COVID.
Mayor, may I address that?
Yes, you may.
So first of all, it's called Taste in Ferguson, just want to clarify. And also it is a private event, so it is not the city, but in a very strong partnership with the city, we have already gone through the health department. We are cleared through the health department on everything we're doing. We do have the health department coming in and doing an inspection with us on Sunday. They will be there as we are building our boxes. As far as social distancing goes, we have made it clear, and we will be having training session with our volunteers, going through with them how they are able to put those boxes of food in the cars. Those boxes will be placed in their cars. It will not be handed to someone, because that is against the health department rules. As far as the VIP area, we have coordinated that with the health department. We are working to make sure that we meet all of their requirements, which we have to this point. If they change anything, they will be on site on Sunday. We will work with them to make sure we answer any of their concerns. But currently, with the way the VIP event is set up, we have built-in social distancing so that people do not have to be near each other. We have already addressed the issue of escorting them to restrooms. We have people that will be maintaining the restrooms. We have already addressed the issue of serving and how we will do that to maintain social distancing so that we are not in contact with them. So we have worked very diligently to think through all of these things, and we have created a plan and a process, and we have also worked with the health department to clear all that we're doing through them, because we definitely do not want to do this event without every single precaution set in place.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Are we ready for the motion and a second?
So moved.
I'll move second.
It's been properly moved and second by Councilman Byron Fry and Councilwoman Burrow. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. At this time, we'll move to our proclamation. We have one for tonight, Centennial of the 19th Amendment Celebration Day. Whereas 172 years ago in 1848, the first Women's Rights Convention was held at Seneca Falls, New York, marking the beginning of the bold and courageous women's rights movement to gain women the vote. And whereas the women's rights movement, as well as every other progressive social change movement, was made stronger by the women of Missouri from every race, class, and background who served on the front line and ultimately played a unique and critical role in Missouri history. And whereas on June 4th, 1919, the United States Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, providing the vote for women, and sent it to the states for ratification. And whereas on July 3rd, 1919, Governor Frederick Gardner signed the bill that made Missouri the 11th state to ratify the 19th Amendment. And whereas 100 years ago, on August 29th, 1920, the 19th Amendment was certified by the United States Secretary of State Van Ridge Colby and became federal law. And whereas the city of Ferguson, Missouri, recognizes that the American Association of University Women, founded in 1881, and its Missouri branches have long been supporters of women's rights, equity, and the 19th Amendment. And whereas the citizens of the city of Ferguson appreciate the struggles of the suffragists and others who fought for the right to vote by all citizens. Now, therefore, I, Ella Jones, Mayor of the City of Ferguson, Missouri, do hereby recognize the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment and proclaim that August 26, 2020 is recognized as the centennial of the 19th Amendment Celebration Day, proclaimed the 8th day of September 2020. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Ferguson to be affixed. Thank you.
Thank you,
This
Mayor.
is a powerful amendment. And Councilwoman Tony, we appreciate you bringing this to our attention. And all month of August, people have been celebrating this, from the Bell Fountain Cemetery to the Greenwood Cemetery, all over dressed in period clothing. So thank you. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
Okay, we have the president of our chapter here on with us. Mayor Jones, would you give her an opportunity to just
Please, would you introduce her?
Pamela Myers, come forth.
You may speak.
She's muted.
Unmute.
Unmute.
There you go.
Yes.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you, Mayor Jones, for recognizing us. And Tony is a member of the Ferguson Florissant branch. And yes, we wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be mayor if we didn't have women have the right to vote. The struggle's been hard. It is still a struggle. We are still trying to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. Hopefully that will happen someday soon. But thank you for recognizing the Ferguson Florissant AAUW. And like I said, we appreciate the proclamation. Thank you.
Mayor Jones, I just got to say that President Pamela Myers is very modest. What she didn't mention is for the last 10 years, this group has been the backbone of us being with our robotics team in conjunction with the Boeing company and also with the MAC. So they are the people who have been helping us for the last 10 years as counselors to all the children. And most of those children have been in the winning team. We have won every time we've gone to the state.
That is true.
Thank you, Pamela Myers. Thank you. We appreciate you being here with us tonight.
Mayor Jones, I have sit beside you many times at other meetings and I've always
Yeah, I
been
know. We were out at the cemetery the other day. So yes.
Thank you.
Very much so. Thank you. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. We have resolution number 2020-34. Without objections, we're introduced by council member presence. I hear none. Attorney Carey, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2020-34, a resolution appropriating additional funds, amending the 2020-2021 citywide litigation budget.
At this time, we will hear from interim city manager Jeff Bloom.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. As you know, recently the city settled a lawsuit that involved an employee who is no longer employed by the city regarding an incident that happened over 6 years ago. The cost of that is not appropriated at this point in time, and so this resolution appropriates funds for that payment.
Do we vote on that?
We getting ready to. Okay. Any questions for our interim city manager? If none, do I have a motion and a second for approval?
So moved.
It's been properly moved by, I heard Tony first, Councilwoman Burrow, second by Councilmember Fry. Are you ready to vote?
I have a question.
I don't
Who
know.
is that?
Mm-mm.
No,
I think, Mayor, there may have been someone from the public attempting to make comment. I know we do not comment at this
No,
time.
we can't. They do not make a comment.
Oh,
Okay. It has been properly moved in second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? The ayes have it. So ordered.
I'm sorry, we need a roll call for the resolution.
We need a roll call. Okay, I'm sorry. Clerk Pittman, would you call the roll?
Councilman Fry,
Aye.
Councilwoman Griffin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Burrow,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
I,
Councilman Garrett.
Aye.
So ordered. The next item is resolution number 2020-35. Without objections, is there anyone else who would like to introduce this resolution, including Fran Griffin? Okay. Attorney Carey, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2020-35, a resolution supporting community reparations for Black Ferguson.
Councilwoman Griffin?
Thank you, Mayor Jones. This is an amended, slightly amended version of what was originally requested to have added to the agenda, which didn't get a second motion during our previous city council meeting. I am still hoping that we, especially as we just got through acknowledging the women power in the room, that we work together on this, because I do think that there is a need for a discussion. I do think that there is a need to have the conversation to see what can be done as we work on things like the comprehensive plan that uses a racial equity lens, as we honor those resolutions like the one that we just submitted about the rights of people having to fight to be able to have a say in the process. I think this is just another one of those resolutions that I'm open to having a conversation with. I'm simply open to we don't have to agree on everything. And that's what I'm truly interested in, is knowing where everyone stands, knowing what everyone's concerns are, so that we can sit down and just simply have a conversation. And so, again, I am presenting this resolution in hopes that we could get a second motion and actually just simply open up the discussion. So I appreciate everyone for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I am going to make the motion in hope that there is a second from someone who sits on the council. Thank you.
You have heard Councilwoman Fran Griffin motion. Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? The motion died. Moving on to bills required first reading. Bill number 7195. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hearing no objection, Attorney Carey, would you please read the bill by title only?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7195, an ordinance terminating tax increment financing within the redevelopment area described in the redevelopment plan Halls Ferry / I-270 redevelopment area, providing for the termination of and transfer of funds from the special allocation fund created therefore, and authorizing certain actions related thereto.
Interim City Manager Bloom, would you please speak and explain to us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. Every TIF district has a beginning and an end. The life of a TIF is 23 years, and this TIF district has been around for 23 years. It has served its purpose, and this is simply a means, the legally required means to now terminate this district. In addition, Director of Finance Alexis Franzi, you got me. I'm not used to that. Sorry. Is here to answer any more detailed questions.
Any questions? Since we don't have any questions, no action is taken at this time for the first reading. Bills require second reading. Bill number 7194. We need a motion and a second to read the bill a second time and place upon the passage. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
It has been properly moved by Councilwoman Lipka, second by Councilman Fry. Attorney Carey, would you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7194, an ordinance amending chapters 25 and 42 of the municipal code of the city of Ferguson relating to issuance of a business license to to rent residential real estate.
Thank you.
You're
Interim City Manager Jeff Bloom, do you have anything to add?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. Just as a reminder, this is a bill that was actually introduced several months ago. And as a result of conversations among the council, a couple, two to be specific, changes were requested within the settlement agreement with the Realtors Association. Those were recently agreed upon. And in consultation with the city clerk, the bill was resubmitted for a first reading at the last meeting. And so that is where we are today. So this is the bill that we asked for, ready to be approved.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions? I hear none. Clerk Pittman, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Griffin,
Roll call.
Councilwoman Griffin. I'll come back. Councilwoman Burrow,
Here. Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilman Garrett,
Aye.
Councilman Fry,
Aye.
Councilwoman Griffin,
Aye.
am I froze?
I know that, I don't know which one it is, if it's the interim manager or if it would be Matt, whomever. Last we spoke about the Helping Park. I still would have no resolution about where is the sustainability. And $100 was what was told back to us, that was what the maintenance fee. And I mentioned that that probably was for utilities. What we didn't get out of the whole thing was that what is the committee and who are those people that would, I think first thing that has to be done is that we have to have a dissolution of the part that is already there. The one down down the street there should have some type of, I'm going to say someone saying, yes, this is what we're going to do. Somebody just said, oh, we're going to make a park. We're going to make a flower garden or whatever there is. There is no concrete anywhere of who's going to do what and who's saying what. So I don't know if that would be the city manager or if that would be Matt, whomever that is. I would like for one of you to take your expertise and tell us. Matt, I'm going to think it's you. So is Matt on board? Is Matt available?
Yeah, I'm on the call.
Thank you. Maybe you can help me with this, Matt. It's in my mind that something should be shut down first before we can go forward. And with that, there should be someone saying, yes, we take on, I'm going to say from the city, a committee of some sort. Are you following what I'm saying? Does this make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am. I think really what we ought to be contemplating is if we're shutting one down and starting one up, that we can't have double maintenance. So what if we're going to say we're going to exchange one park for the other? I can't have my staff doing maintenance on both. That's something we can't afford, because then we're talking about actually spending more money than we did in previous years. So what I would propose is that council vote for to close Spring Valley and remove the equipment in advance of the installation of the new equipment in the new park, or some variation there too.
So Matt, if we did remove the equipment from Spring Valley, what is the cost on that going to be to us? Do you have just a guesstimate?
Oh, that would probably take a couple days of staff time. So I mean, it would be additional work, but it would happen during the regular workday.
So
I have a question. I have a question, because we're talking about literally in my ward, literally, we're talking about a program that we had talked about within the community. And so I'm hearing Ms. Burrows' suggestion that she's making about, putting together a solid plan, which in that case, it would have to do with, me and the people in which live in the neighborhood that said this is something that we wanted to do. I would think like that would be the first thing probably that would need to happen, is actually sitting down and having that conversation and putting something together with Matt, which since he is the expertise. Secondly, in terms of taking out the equipment, what we in the community had already determined, because we knew that it was going to cost the city money, was that we would not take down the equipment. We would use the equipment to grow fruit and vegetables off of, which would then save money for the city, so they don't have to come and pull anything up. We don't have to dedicate staff to be able to do that. And we would actually be able to turn something which is ugly and unable to be used now into something beautiful that could be used. So I would
Ms.
be more
Griffin,
than happy. I'm
Let
sorry.
her finish, please.
I apologize.
So I would be more than happy to sit down and work on a plan with Matt, and we can go over the details of that. But from my understanding, this park, I mean, in terms of like the maintenance currently that goes along there, we have mowers that come out and mow the lawn. Like we've literally we talking about maintenance. When was the last time any kind of maintenance was done to any of that equipment? So if we're simply talking about mowing lawns, I mean, then hey, we just talked about having some young guys come and mow lawns. It's nothing to get somebody from the community to come out and mow the lawn. So I'm just wondering, like, where is the sudden interest in something that the community is interested in building coming from? I understand the financial part of it, but without knowing what the plan was, then the suggestions of tearing it down and all of that, we've got something that beautiful that we want to create there. And so I want to give the community opportunity to be able to actually do that.
Give me an opportunity to speak. This is not sudden. These are questions coming up as when I found out about helping. And when it came to my attention, if I had known about it when it first started, I'd have these same questions. And another thing that I think about is that when you say it's in your ward, I'm talking about the city of Ferguson, not one spot, not one ward. We are all here together. And so we have parks, and I spoke about this last time, that are in ruin. And so when we talk about sustainability, that still has not been said. What are you going to do? Now, when that came up about $100, I asked the question, what happens when the water fountain breaks? What happens when a shrub doesn't grow and you got to take it out? What happens when, so those are the things that I'm talking about. And I have never brought up the fact about it's mowing lawns. But that does come into play, but that's not what I'm talking about. There should be a process in any other city, anywhere, when you take out something and you bring something in, there should be a dissolution. And I see no dissolution. And every time I bring up about what is it, where's the sustainability, people act like they don't know what that word means. It's not just about money.
Well, I appreciate you for being able to express all of that, but I want to also express the fact that you also made mention that it might just be abandoned if the community was to build it up. And I remember at that time, you're right, it's not new. It's not new what you've been saying. And at the time, my explanation to you was, why look at, if this is something that the community wants to do, why would you go into it with the mindset of it's already not going to be effective? That's not okay. And in terms, I'm not through. In terms of,
that's why I stopped, because I heard you.
But I'm not through. Please don't. I appreciated you when you spoke, and I gave you the opportunity to speak.
When you stop,
and I would like to have that same opportunity
I'm
as
going to
well.
give you all the respect that I think you deserve.
I appreciate that. So, like I was saying, this was something that had been talked about before. From my understanding, I don't ever recall having a conversation saying that we were going to dissolve what already existed, because I know when we first talked about the garden, we said that we were going to repurpose. This was something that the community, we were going to repurpose. We didn't even want to ask the city for any kind of funds. We didn't even want to ask the city for any kind of funds because we knew that it was going to be pushback. Let's just be honest. It was going to be pushback regardless. It was going to be pushback whether we decided to keep the equipment there and spray paint it ourselves and build our boxes ourselves. There was going to be pushback. Let's just be honest and call it what it is. Let's just have that conversation. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the part that I don't understand. When we have stuff in the community that we want to do specifically on our own to try to make something beautiful, take something ugly and make it beautiful. Look, Mayor Jones and if we're talking about sustainability, I don't mind having that conversation with the park that we're in the process of building, because those questions that you presented are very valid, Ms. Burrows. Councilwoman Burrows, they're very valid. We need to ask questions about that, what's going on with the water fountain, things of that nature, so we can have opportunity to be able to explain, or we can ask those questions and get those answers. But in terms of the other part, if it's simply maintenance, which is what I originally thought your question was in regards to, with specifically with Matt, which Matt replied, and then I had a question, was that the maintenance on the original one would have to be dissolved. Then we start talking about removing equipment, and hey, come to find out that costs money too. But we haven't even talked about the plan yet. So is it that you want to see a laid out plan? Is it that you want to see the sustainability in the new part? Is it that you want to have either one or the other open because you don't believe that the community can actually keep something sustained and make it beautiful and work together? What is it? And now I'm asking that question.
Matt, can you tell me, I'm thinking you're talking to me now, so I'm going to answer. Matt, can you tell me how many parks that we have that have been suggested in this city that people walked away from? I know at least of 3, so you tell me. So I don't want anybody to think I'm guessing. And when it comes down to what is it, we all have an opinion, every one of us. We all, and that doesn't mean just on this council, we're talking citizens here. And those of us that are sitting on this council, we have an obligation when you raise your right hand and take that vow that we are going to be speaking for those folks. 61% of the vote said, hey, it wasn't a slogan when I said we need to work together, to serve together. I believe that. That's who I am. Work together to serve together. And I don't interchange words. Inclusion, exclusion, work together, save together. I don't interchange. Those are not interchange. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right there and give everybody an opportunity. We are interrupting so that we don't get confused about who's being disrespectful. Are we good? We all good? Okay, I'll continue. So when I'm asking questions, if I were here when this first got started, I'm gonna tell you and everybody else, I would have asked these same questions. Why they didn't come up from anybody else, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to figure it out. These are the questions that I have. And from speaking to Matt just now, he's able to tell us what should be done. I had an inkling that something should be happening, but I didn't know. But I'm thinking he's the right one to tell us, and we figured that one out. The second thing is, when we talk about sustainability, I don't know why anybody never asked the question what was going to happen with that land that's sitting there. But Matt, would you give me the answer to the question? Do you know about the gardens or anything in any of these parks that's going haywire, when you could walk through some weeds and probably get ticks and everything else because the grass is so high? Can you tell me about those ones? Because I don't want anybody to think that I'm making this up. It just came out the sky. No, it is happening here. I'm not being derogatory. This is fact. Matt, can you give me the answer, please?
Yes, ma'am. I can think of 2 community gardens that are falling into, let's say disrepair, or they're not being used as were intended. And it's causing my staff some time to have to mow and maintain them. So Robert Superior comes to mind, and so does the Youth Build garden. There may be another one that's escaped my recollection at the point, but those 2 I know, quite soundly are not being used and have been left to ruin.
Matt, can I ask a question, or Miss Councilwoman Burrow, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Okay. So do we have any parks from the past, since you've been with the city of Ferguson, Matt, that you know of that has been retired?
I can hear.
No, no parks that have been retired. But that's my whole point, is that I have such limited staff, guys, and I'm not doing this for any other reason other than to preserve, my staff's ability to maintain these parks. I can't mow both those and do it. And so I've got to stop maintaining one to start maintaining the other at the level that I think they deserve to be maintained. And some of the equipment, like Councilwoman Griffin said, may be able to be used by a creative individual for a garden. I can see climbing plants, tomatoes, and others. Maybe with some cattle panels over the swing set architecture, that might work. The merry-go-round, I think that's got to go. I mean, some of those things have to be removed, because there's no. I can't imagine a transition to an agricultural use for them. That doesn't mean there isn't one, but I'll concede that removing the slide probably isn't good form and the merry-go-round. The rest of it, if that lends itself to an agricultural purpose, so be it. It's just, I want to really get away from maintaining both, because I just don't have the staff to do it.
So, Councilwoman Griffin, one of the questions I guess I have is, and I hear everything you're saying, and I'm trying, and I hear what Councilwoman Burrow is saying, so I'm trying to find that middle ground. And so I agree that your community is definitely on board with creating this garden and wanting to repurpose those items. I guess the thing that I'm hearing from Councilwoman Burrow, and I'm not trying to put words in her mouth, so please correct me, either one of you ladies. I guess what I'm looking for personally is an official declaration of, what am I trying to say? An official turning over, like City of Ferguson no longer runs Springwood Park, and an official declaration that a group, maybe you have a group name, the Citizens of Halprin or something like that, officially on paper take over what you want to do, with you taking the liability and the the movement forward and the plan, and whatever you guys want to do is awesome. I guess what I feel like we need to have something official. We need to have, like, kind of like the proclamations and the resolutions and so forth. I don't know what that would be. I'm just saying we need to have something official that retires Spring Valley from ownership and maintenance of the City of Ferguson, and then presents it like a ribbon cutting of some sort to a group of people who are identified, because we want to be able, the city as a whole needs to be able to know who to reach out to if there's a necessary conversation in the future in regards to a future garden and things like that. So I guess that's kind of what I'm hearing. And if I'm incorrect, I would like to be corrected.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. That land's a half the size of my backyard. This is a done deal. If they want to have the land, do what you want, plant stuff. It happens. All this going back and forth is nonsense. This is a done deal.
Byron, it is not a done deal.
Yeah, this stuff, my volume's messing up. I gotta mute myself.
Byron, I just want to give you a correction. It is not a done deal. If it was a done deal, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So it is not a done deal. Now, I can imagine that you don't want to talk about it, but I want to correct you. It is not a done deal. And so if somebody had thought about this when they first brought this up, we wouldn't have this conversation. And it's fine. I can appreciate Councilwoman Lipka paraphrasing. However, we got a subject matter expert and Matt to tell us what should be done. And so if we cannot go along to get along, this habit of not doing things decent in order has got to stop. And I'm sorry, Byron, if you don't have the time to want to take that into consideration. But if you don't do it at this stage, we'll be here 20 years from now still dealing with it because nobody stopped it. And so that's where I am. We got the subject matter expert giving us the information. That's what we pay him for. And when you talk about anything that goes into this, it's not just Ward 3, Ward 2, Ward 1, taxpayers' money, citizens of Ferguson, no matter where your ward is. We don't own people.
Okay, I just wanted to give her enough time to finish saying what she wanted to say. I didn't want to finish, cut you off and seem as if I'm being disrespectful. But when I mention my community, when I mention my neighborhood, that's because the people in that community actually signed petitions. This was years ago at this point. They actually signed petitions and had them submitted to the Parks Board. The Parks Board, also citizens of our community, approved to have this park done. And they sent that to the city council. They sent their recommendations to the city council. The city council actually voted on it. That vote, which was not contingent upon whether or not we had a disillusioned park that was right down the street, whether we chose to do the maintenance, whether we chose to keep it and refurbish it and turn it into a garden, the city council, who sat on the seat at the time, approved for that. Now, this has been something that's been going on for years and years and years. So when I say my community, when I say who is it that's working on it, I'm speaking about people that I know have been involved with the project, that I know have an interest in doing what we're doing. I'm not saying that to say, oh, well, this is my ward. So that's not what I'm saying at all. So please don't mix my words. That's not what I'm speaking
That
of.
was my interpretation of what you said. I'm not trying to mix your words.
I appreciate, again, Ms. Burrows, I gave you all the opportunity you needed to speak, and I'm gonna ask that you give me that same respect.
When you do pause
Again,
right there, that's when
now
I'm.
when it comes to, excuse me, again, that's not appropriate for this conversation. We have a protocol, like you always tell people.
Maybe you should
We
raise your
have
hand because
a
when you
place
talk,
to speak.
I think somebody else is ready
You
to talk.
speak,
When
and
you
then,
do,
excuse me. Respect goes both ways, Ms. Burrows.
I'm going to use the
I
hand.
was speaking.
Clap. I'm going to use the hand clap for you. Okay, I'll raise the hand clap.
You know what? I'll wait until you're done talking. How about that?
I'm going to raise the hand clap.
I think Mayor Jones is trying to speak, but she's muted.
So, okay, let me.
Mayor, you have control of your mute button.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. At this time, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Heather Robinette. I apologize. My iPad was unmuted and you could not hear me. So at this time, Councilwoman Heather Robinette, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. I just wanted to point out that when we created our garden at Old Ferguson West, we did help design the ordinance for community gardens that protected both the city and protected the community garden. And we signed something with the city that basically said that we would we'd pay $1 a year for the land, and you know what we would do with the land and what we could and couldn't do. So I'll be happy to find that information, Councilwoman Griffin, to you know, let your residents see what the contract, quote unquote contract, would be with the city for free use of that land.
Thank you.
For a garden.
Thank you. That's a great idea. A great idea. Okay. Are we finished with the unfinished business? Let's move to item number 11 on the agenda, on the agenda, miscellaneous. We are on a Zoom and we're not asking everyone to speak, but if you have something very important to say, would you please share? Linda, unmute.
I would just like to once again invite those in Ferguson and the surrounding areas to participate in this year's Taste in Ferguson event. And it is on Sunday from 4 to 6 o'clock. You can drive through the Savoy Banquet Center at 119 South Florissant to pick up your boxes, and your boxes can be ordered on the website, thetasteinferguson.com. And the cutoff for those orders will be midnight on Thursday. The proceeds from the event will go to the scholarship funds that are created for Ferguson and North County youth and for BTC parochial family tuition assistance, as well as different organizations within Ferguson to benefit students and children. And then we are also purchasing the food from the restaurants. So your ticket purchase will directly support the restaurants during this time of COVID. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I would just like to share, please mark your calendars. September the 24th is a Thursday from 6 to 7:30. I promise everyone that I will have a town hall after my first 90 days in office, and we will have a town hall meeting September the 24th from 6:30 until 7:30. It is a Zoom town hall. We are not meeting in person. In addition to that, I have asked Chief Hampton to speak because he knows of the COVID. Also, Nicole Barton from the Consent Decree, she is the Consent Decree coordinator. Chief Jason Armstrong for the police department to address some crime issues. And we have interim city manager Jeffrey Bloom will speak on finance and staff and the state of the city of Ferguson. It's imperative that we have all residents Zoom in to this meeting because it's going to be most helpful to all of us. If you have any questions prior to the town hall, please email to townhall@fergusoncity.com. We ask that you turn in all of your questions on or before Monday, September the 21st. Our goal is to answer everyone's questions. Thank you. We don't have a closed session for tonight. I'm asking for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I just
Ayes
missed,
have-
I missed Apollo.
Okay.
I
Have a
missed you
good
too.
night. Have a good night. Meeting
See you guys
adjourned.
later.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Mayor Jones, Dr. Casey is trying to get your attention to say something if she's afforded the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Chief Armstrong. Mayor Jones, I've been sitting in the meeting waiting to hear from Jeff to bring forward what we spoke to you about today. And I don't know if I missed that already or.
You missed it. He did speak to it. So
Okay.
Jeff, would you please, interim city manager,
Yes.
would you please speak to Dr. Casey?
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Casey, we'll take it offline. I'll call you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.